Hello, and welcome back to episode 8 of the JRB podcast with myself, Ryan Levine, Jeff Jones, and Bohdan Temnyk.
What's up?
So today we're going to go over the announcements at Jump Festa last weekend. There was nothing super world ending, like no new mechanics or whatever, but a bunch of cool products that it sounds like, based on another thing we're going to talk about, which will be the announcement of the quarter century promotion, which we've already received some announcements for in the TCG. It sounds like some of this stuff might, we might actually get it as well, but we will have to wait and see. So, Jeff, I know you've got some information on some of the announcements. If you want to take it away.
Yeah, so this is kind of just like general stuff announced at Jump Festa 2023. And I think one of the first interesting thing that stood out to me, especially for collectors, is a Dark Magician special stainless steel plaque, and it's similar to the Platinum Blue Eyes that we had. Only 10,000 of them will be made. They'll come with serial numbers. I think they're around $150 and translated to like American money.
Yeah.
Um, so if this is something that you're interested in, um, if let's say you didn't like the Platinum Blue Eye, I don't remember how much did we spend on the Platinum
It
Blue
was
Eyes. I can't remember how
so
much.
the platinum
A
blue
lot.
eyes was $1,000, and
It was 1,000.
only 1,000 were made in each region. So it sounds like this is about a tenth of the cost, and they're printing
hmm
10 times
And
as
also
many.
gate
So
kept to Japan as well,
yeah,
essentially.
Yeah.
but as
Um,
we'll get
to
to.
put it in perspective though, so like Japan had three other ones before we had Platinum Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
They had a gold Blue Eyes, a silver Blue Eyes, and then a stainless steel Dark Magician Girl. And their pricing has fluctuated quite a lot. The gold and the silver were a lot more what do I want to like more scarce in terms of like the amount that they had made. So those retained price quite well, but they have dropped significantly since COVID. And then the Dark Magician Girl, the one that you would assume would be the most expensive, is probably the cheapest now. So I think Konami really identified it's like we could have this at a lower price point, and we'll just sell 10,000 straight away, and it won't like go to like a scalper secondary market. This is more like an ornamental piece, which I can appreciate. I like stuff like this one is cheaper. Because if it's only 1,500 yen, you can actually just remove the Dark Magician from the thing and use this to display your own cards. And people don't do that, but I've seen some OCG people do it with some crazy prize cards. It looks sick.
Yeah. So something I think that I think that because these seem to be doing very well over in Japan, this is something
Mm.
I think will translate over into TCG. Um, the the Blue Eyes here
Mm.
sold out basically immediately and caused quite a big controversy. A lot of people were really upset
In
about it
every
because the
region.
site, yeah, in
Yeah.
every region, yeah, it didn't the website didn't function correctly immediately. Some people didn't even realize that they got it, including me, until I got
Including
an
me.
email.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
all of a sudden I got an email saying, "Oh, here you go," and I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sweet,
It
okay."
ended up just being like whoever put it on their wait list. Like, it was so bizarre. It
Yeah,
was like the North American
it was
site was
very
very weird.
silly. But there was like a big enough gap where I think like the price point was maybe too high for what it was. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
but I like items like that. I like when Yu-Gi-Oh releases what do they call it, like luxury items, because other games tend to get stuff like you'll see like Magic,
That's what I was gonna
Pokemon.
say next, where
Yeah,
Magic does a lot of their own stuff
yeah.
on their own website, and I think Yu-Gi-Oh could make a killing doing that, especially with something like this. If they put out
Well, well,
10,000 of these,
Hasbro does like Hasbro Direct, eBay Direct, right? That was like a big thing. Like it would just be like a partnership with eBay. Like so, Konami could do that. But I think instead they go with the people they already have like contracts with, right? I think for Latin America it was like the distributor Devere. For North America, was it on Core TCG or their own
It
website?
was their own website. But
Oh, okay,
but a bunch of
but
the
for
Comic Con
Europe it was
mats
on.
they do through Core. Yeah.
Because
If they
for
have the
Europe, it
online
was on
ones.
Tournament Center, which is the company that helps run all the YCS events and like national championships and stuff like that. And they do like organized play for some regions. So it was on their website,
I mean, that makes
and that went
sense.
pretty smoothly. Yeah, like I think it's easier for them to get another company to fulfill it, because my understanding is like Konami will get the place to make them. They will get made, and they get made in Japan, like really good quality. Like they're amazing. They come with like the certificate
What,
stamped
the
by the
platinum
dude. Like
ones? Yeah, I mean, it
yeah, it's
was,
like
yeah.
this is made by a guy in Japan. It's like, oh god, he's looking out for me.
Yeah.
And they just ship it and then it's fulfilled by that company. So, but I agree, like a direct thing, like Hasbro would
Yeah.
make sense, to be
Especially
honest.
because there is the shop.yu-gi-oh.com website, and that's where you can buy. They already have their own website where they sell other stuff on there, and I
Like
think
apparel. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, apparel. They also have collectors things. They have like the metal cards and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and those are
Mm.
weird because those aren't even I don't know how to like made by. Hold on, I actually
No,
have
so
some
there's
like on
there's a
my
made by the
desk.
company. There's a made by the company Fanatics.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's the one.
they're a European company. Um, but I think like with like all the licensing agreements and stuff like that, like yeah, technically it's not made by Konami, but like
I mean, it's
you
an
know what I
official
mean. Like,
product, obviously.
It's
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
I'm just
their
saying.
official product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's the same people that make the pre-reg coins, right? So it's just like, oh, it's cool that they're integrating
yeah,
something like that. So sort of shows it's like, oh, we could have some like other ridiculous stuff that Japan has, depending on who they opt to have like in the Western side, right? Like who they give their licensing to. We could have the cool like bath towels and stuff like that that Japan has that are just like ridiculous. The umbrella
Yeah.
that Ryan is addicted
Oh
to,
my god, I want
all
that
kinds of
umbrella
that
so
stuff.
bad. So
Yeah,
there was
some
a
cool
Duel
stuff like
Links Twitter campaign, Japan only, for a Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon umbrella. And I saw it
that.
online one day and I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I must have this. And I check and
It is a
converted to
billion
US dollars, it was like $3,000. And I'm like, I guess I will die alone and sad without my Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon umbrella.
Standing in the rain.
I literally standing in the rain. But yes.
Something else I think that like this, I'm surprised this Shop Yu-Gi-Oh website doesn't do is they could have made so much money if they put that Rescue Rat
Oh
plush
my
up
gosh,
Mhm.
yes.
on this instead of giving it away. Like so much money. Like
Yeah.
the Pokemon Center website, they make a killing on all the
Yeah.
plushes that they sell, and Konami could do the same thing. Just make official like
So
Karibo, Dark Magician
do you
Girl,
do
official
you know the
stuff, and
biggest
they will make
problem?
so much money.
The biggest problem is there are so many other companies with the Yu-Gi-Oh licensing right now
Yeah.
making stuff like that that you don't know half of it exists. I'll look on Twitter and
Yeah,
John Moore loves posting these.
he does. Yeah.
It will be like random companies making these. He's like, hey, if you go to GameStop, they have this one, like they have these plushes. It's like a Jaden one, and so I was like, that's ridiculous because like one, I wouldn't have known if you didn't tell me because I'm not actively looking for it, but like now I want it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like if you just have it all condensed in one place,
which they
I would
which
buy
they
it.
appear to do. It's like because they have their own website, which I have bought stuff from a number of times. Like the first week that it went up, I thought it was super cool, and Nishad and I made a pretty big order together. And I think I got it went up around the time
Did you get the Hanukkah hoodie?
no, I didn't get the Hanukkah hoodie. I
No,
almost
yeah.
did.
Well, we actually bought it's one of the Christmas hoodies from the
Yeah,
Yeah,
website, and it's like
the Deck the
I
Halls
think
one. Is that what it is?
yeah, I
that's
think there's
very
a
funny.
Kaiba one, and then there's also a Mai one that we got.
Oh,
So and
the
it's
my one was for Valentine's Day, I thought, but
and
maybe I don't
the,
know.
no, the Mai one is Valentine's, but there's
And there
also
was a Christmas one.
I think that's a Christmas one that's Kaiba, I believe. I'm
Mm.
not,
Yeah,
I can't really, but yeah.
I
Oh,
got
yeah, it is
the.
Kaiba. It's like it says like, oh, you're naughty or something. Like you're on the naughty list.
I got the
Pretty
Wing Dragon
cool.
of Raw. They had a Wing Dragon of Raw like New York Comic Con like collab. I don't type thing when that happened a few years ago. So in 2021, I believe. So I got a face mask for that and the hoodie, and then I've got a couple like mugs and my favorite one is I bought a little sticker, one of those like decals that just says Kaiba Corp R&D, and I just put it on like I have this when I don't even one of the teams I was on, I don't remember which one at this point, was sponsored by Monster for like a couple months. They sent us product samples of something I'm not even sure ever got released, and it is a 5 wide deck box. So it's not a
Oh
double
yes,
deck box,
just to
it's not a triple
clarify,
deck
not
box.
Monster Energy,
No, not Monster
Monster
Energy,
Protector.
Monster
Right,
Protector.
good,
Yes.
good. Yes.
Yeah. So they sent us a 5-slot deck box, and over top the middle of the 5-slot deck box, I have the Kaiba Corp R&D department sticker on it, and it makes me giggle every time because I'm very, very dumb. But that's it. That's what I've purchased from the Yu-Gi-Oh apparel store. and it makes me happy. And I wish I could also buy a Rescue plushie, but oh well. So
Yes.
to kind of, I guess like we've spent a long time on this, I guess, but
It kind
yeah.
of transitioned from the Dark Magician special card to
Yes,
like
which might come
what
out, which we can talk about that later. Like I think it wouldn't be unheard of if we
I
got
was
it.
going to say that. I was going to
Yeah,
say if you like this, I think this will be the next step for those like special high-end cards. And I think they will
yeah,
also go in a more affordable direction because I think they make more money that way and
probably.
make more people happy.
Yeah, I agree.
Um So after that, the next thing that I thought was somewhat interesting and kind of annoyed me was how they are getting our YCS prize card, another Verse Dragon, and they're getting it at like a local level, like a shop
Yeah,
participant common version, and shop winners get a
yeah.
super rare version.
Which
And I
They
was like,
did
wow,
that.
we really just can't have anything nice.
Yeah.
Japan always has to rain on our parade.
So the reason they're doing that more than anything, and obviously there's probably like other factors to it. Maybe they wouldn't have done it, if COVID didn't happen. Previous years would be the replica of the World Championship card from the prior year. When they would do stuff like that. So you had like
oh
the
yeah,
Amato Akami. Yeah, so you had like those in ultra rare form. They come sealed. They looked amazing.
they
And
do
they
look
say
very
replica
nice.
on them. And beforehand, you know how you would have like the super rare copies of the previous Worlds card. That was like similar concept, but that was only for Japan nationals. And I think now it's just like, oh, you have like the shop tournament, which is meant to like qualify you for their nats or something, like satellite tournament thing. Yeah, it's like a whole level to it. But it is disappointing that they would get rid of the another Verse Dragon so quickly, because that was like a nice seller in Japan. Like maybe the market for prize cards is lulling in North America, maybe in Europe, but in Japan, it's still going strong. And now they have the one card that they didn't have in Japanese. Like, oh, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, because the prize cards previously had always just been like cards that had a regular distribution in Japan. Maybe they were like a Shonen Jump promo. They were almost always Shonen Jump promos. Not all the time, but usually they were Shonen Jump promos. And
Mm.
then for whatever reason, they were just like kind of plucked to be the prize cards for us. Like the ones I remember, I believe Diablosis was like a
Yeah,
valuable book promo in Japan, which
Mm.
every so often in Japan they have something called the valuable book, and it's like a price guide, and then it has like a promo in it. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that was where Diablosis was from, and maybe even Giant Hand was in a similar thing, or maybe just Giant Hand was just a jump promo. But I know a bunch of them have just been jump promos.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's just like another licensing thing. It's
Yeah,
just like, oh, how are we gonna introduce this to Westerners? It's like,
yeah,
yeah, prize card. All right, I
hmm
guess so. Which is good that they're not doing that anymore, because
yeah.
I think like
I like this better.
I think we've been through like the whole prize card thing in a prior episode, but it's
Hmm
like cool that it is something unique enough. It doesn't have to have playability. I would like to see something a little bit more unique. And that might touch on the other topic. I don't know if we want to keep going through the Yu-Gi-Oh organization stuff though, with like the Jump Festa stuff. Jeff, do you want to?
yeah. I mean,
Do you want
so I'm sure Jump Festa was also
to?
announced. The next two things we want to talk about are the new Teller Knight support, because on our previous podcast we talked about our new Forbidden List, on which we got Ptolemaeus back, and I made a comment saying, well, you know what, bringing this back to 3, we could see Teller Knight support of the next set, and lo and behold,
Yeah.
here we go, Teller Knight slash Constellar support. Um, so I think let's talk about that, because I think me and Ryan are most interested in that first, and then we'll move on to the next topic after.
So first
Hey,
thing,
I'm interested. I
first
just don't
thing
want
I
to
want
use
to
it.
say, which I have wondered, I've been like, okay, upset is too strong of a word. I've been mildly irritated by this ever since Ptolemaeus came back, which was so the cards that like Ptolemaeus is, or no, Diamond, sorry, ever since Diamond came out, Diamond is like Satellar Knight Constellar Diamond.
Yes,
But if its name was Constellar Knight,
Constellar Knight.
it would have both Constellar and Teller Knight in the name anyway. So there is no need to have named it that, unless there is some deep lore that I'm missing with like how they're written in Japanese, and I just don't understand anything at all. But
Right, Japan absolutely could be saying no, it has to be like
yeah,
this.
but then it's like now we're getting two of the new Tallarknight monsters. They're new monsters. There's Tallarknight Lyra and Tallarknight Altea, and then they have like the rules text of this card is always treated as a Constellar card, and I just feel like
You
perhaps
can
they could just be
eliminate card
named.
text.
Perhaps they could just be named Constellar Knight, but I whatever. Like we'll wait till these get released in English, I guess, but I don't want to go over like their effects individually because I don't like if you want to see their effects individually, you can very easily find that information. I think the only thing that I really wanted to touch on is like one thing that we also mentioned about the Ptolemaeus thing was we were just talking about like, well, you know, it also has that weird 7 material effect, but like the Tallar Knights aren't very good, so I don't think that will ever happen. And lo and behold, with the new Tallar Knight support, you can literally just draw like there are like 2 card combos of
yeah.
like not even so there are some like weird like OCG only combos that end on like Raga Miniad with 7 materials with Gossip Shadow. And it's like in order to do those combos, you have to play a lot of pretty questionable cards that like you probably won't actually want to play. But the combos that do the 7 material Ptolemaeus were
It's all
just
in engine cards,
the
basically.
the Tallarknight cards you're already going to be playing if you play this deck. Like if you are playing the Tallarknight deck, an opening hand of like Tallarknight Lyra and Tallarknight Anunkuli is a pretty reasonable hand for you to draw. And that combo, using only Tallarknight and Constellar cards that were probably already going to be in your deck, ends on a 7 material Ptolemaeus and skips your opponent's turn. And based on how some of these cards work, being the Tallarknight Skybridge and 2 of the new cards, one of the Exceeds adds back Tallars and Constellars from your graveyard, and one of the new spells lets you turn Tallar or Constellar monsters into different ones from the extra deck. You can literally loop Ptolemaeus because of how the cards get put back in your extra deck and put back on your hand.
The Pot of Avarice as well, like the one that no one would ever play.
Yeah,
so
like you don't need to play that
one.
one. You don't even need to play that one to just loop Ptolemaeus, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because their new extra deck monster, when it says like when you summon him, you can add a Tallarknight and or a Constellar card from your graveyard to your hand. So you can just keep adding cards back to your hand or your extra deck to keep all your resources going, basically. So
well, like you assume on a turn skip you would just kill them, right?
Right,
like
but even if you can't, like maybe it's just safer to just skip their turn again and make an attack for 550 because
yeah, probably
because then it skips their turn again. You know what I mean? Like you from what I can gather from watching it is like you can literally skip their turn, then it's your turn, then you attack for 550, then you do the whole combo again and skip their turn. And just do that. It's literally just Yatagarasu, but 2023 and going first.
And not terrible, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it is terrible. Like maybe
Yatagarasu that you don't have to draw and also summon when the moon has aligned.
Yeah, like maybe it is terrible. Like maybe, you know, these are all light monsters and Bestials haven't been hit yet for us. Tier Element hasn't been hit yet. Kashira hasn't been hit yet. Like these don't come out until our May set. So as we talked about last week, this won't be till
that'll be our
WCQ.
They could be very scary if it extends to our national sets.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes,
into our nationals and like this is like good.
Yeah, I'd be so upset if this is like a Worlds deck that just skips their turn. I'll be so upset. Oh my god.
And then Ptolemaeus gets banned again.
Yeah, literally, maybe. What if it just gets banned again? I thought about that too. It's just like what like I don't get it. I don't understand. I feel like this would be a reason why you don't bring back Ptolemaeus. But again, maybe they're just not good enough. Maybe if our lists don't butcher the current decks we have enough. Because Japan, I'm a little bit frightful for because they get these cards in a couple weeks and their Forbidden list just massacred all their good decks.
Yeah, their
I
decks,
don't know what beats this.
their
But
best decks right now are like the like Tri Brigade Literalist deck and the like Labyrinth deck, and that's like what they're playing right now.
yeah.
Can you imagine like going from like basically like full power Kashtira and Tearlament to like going to decks that were like from 2 years ago?
Yeah. I mean,
Like a Tri Brigade.
I mean, like, I feel like Sword Soul might even be okay there. I don't really remember what got hit. I'm pretty sure it was just like Emergence, because I'm pretty sure Protoss is still legal, so I'm pretty sure Sword Soul's probably still good there, but who knows? Also a deck from over a year ago at this point. But yeah, so all in all, if these are all of the Constellar cards and support, maybe they won't be quite as crazy as we're being led to believe based on these very I guess I'll say like visceral combo videos that look like you just skip your opponent's turn. However, if there are more Teller and Constellar cards in the set that were not revealed from this stream from Jump Festa, I feel like if they gave them one thing I'm kind of surprised on is they didn't give them, because one thing they love doing is just giving these decks like a link monster, because neither Constellar nor Satellar have a link monster. They somehow were, neither of those decks got one in the Link Vrains era at all, which I think is kind of shocking, because like Evil Swarm did, Shadal did, Burning Abyss did, you know, like all of the decks around them did. Like every single deck that was playable at the time of Constellar has gotten a link monster, and every deck that was playable at the same time as Constellar, whichever one, both of them, all the decks playable at the same time as both of them have all gotten links. Literally all of them. So I'm kind of surprised that neither of them has been given a link monster yet. And maybe if there is space for it in Cyberstorm Access, we'll see it. Or maybe another set if they decide to keep supporting it. Maybe it's just a couple random support cards that don't matter and this deck won't be that good. But who knows? I'm a little upset that you can just skip your opponent's turn. That's kind of not cool. But
Yeah, I don't expect to see a Link monster. I feel like they try to nowadays only lean into Link monsters for archetypes that would require them, like Pendulum. Like you technically don't need Link monsters anymore. There's no point.
yeah.
And I think the only reason to really make Link monsters is for like Pendulum, or if you're going to make like a Link based deck, period, where you have effects to things you're pointing to a whole bunch and have like things with link arrows and stuff like that. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of generic link, not generic, but like link monsters for specific decks anymore. They'll either be like generic or for very specific purposes.
Yeah, I just feel like when Shadal and BA and Cliffort and Ritual Beast all have Link monsters, I just
Yeah.
feel like Satellar should probably get
Well,
one.
so
But
there is something from like a long time ago where it was like a rumor at a YCS that uh Teller Knight was supposed to get a Link monster with them, and do you know what happened? It
no,
it turned into something else
what do you? Was it a
that
sold?
that came out. Isolde. Isolde
Oh,
was originally supposed to be a Teller Knight,
oh,
but
sure,
instead, because it was it was a warrior,
a
and then
warrior. Yeah, that's
it got,
interesting. That would
yeah.
be big if true, especially because I'm pretty sure they just all. I mean, obviously you would play a sold. These are all warriors, so like I'm sure you play a sold in this Teller Knight
You
deck.
play Isolde in this
Yeah,
Teller Knight, also not even because you need the effect for like equips.
just to
It's
search
because
Altair,
you need
right?
some. You can search, and then also it triggers your Deltaros by linking it away.
Oh yeah, that is cool. I did see that. That was kind of cool. Where you trigger your Deltaros and then it summons Altair, then Altair brings back Deltaros, then you make a sold with Altair and Deltaros, and then it triggers Deltaros again.
Yeah.
And then I
I
was
thought
like, huh.
that was
Huh.
ridiculous to me. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep linking away Deltros and summoning guys from your deck. It seems pretty good.
And that was pretty cool. I actually did kind of think that was neat, but maybe too evil. But yeah, so I guess I think the last thing we kind of want to talk about today, this will be a shorter one than usual, but the announcement for the TCG that we are also getting some anniversary products. So the reason for a lot of the products mentioned from Jump Festa are because we are going into the 25th anniversary of
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
The quarter century
The quarter.
anniversary.
No. Because the Legendary Collection thing says 25th anniversary edition, but the rarities are called quarter century rare,
Yeah.
which is very
Yes.
ridiculous. But anyways, we are going into the 25th anniversary. I'm unclear if this is the 25th anniversary of the card game, of Yu-Gi-Oh, like the manga, like the whole franchise, or of the
I
anime,
felt like it was the
because
20th anniversary for Yu-Gi-Oh for like 6 years,
that's
honestly.
what I'm saying. Because
They like to do that.
yeah,
They did it for they did it for
in
the
20
plot as well. No.
in 2018, every OCG product had a little stamp on it that said 20th anniversary. And I'm pretty sure that was the 20th anniversary of the IP in general. Like I believe
Yeah.
maybe it was like the Yu-Gi-Oh.
So what we would like, I remember we discussed this when it happened. We were sure that they were just going to split it up between TCG and OCG, right? Because
Yeah.
TCG would be 20th anniversary like this year, but obviously there's no like distinct branding or anything else like that. We never had anything that was specific to the 20th anniversary of the IP prior.
Yeah.
And then
Because
same with the
Japan
15th
also
anniversary.
had a separate anniversary for the anime specifically.
Yeah.
They had a separate one. I want to say it was like a year after the 20th anniversary, and they kind of just rolled it all in together. I really felt like Japan had the 20th anniversary sticker for like 3 years. And I felt like they just kept saying it was the 20th
I'm pretty
anniversary
sure
of a
if you go
different
through,
thing.
if you go through the Japanese product listings, like on
Yeah.
their website, you just like click the button and you will see the 20th anniversary on like probably a
Like
year and a half worth of
everything.
like a product schedule.
Like
Yeah, it's pretty
everything.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And we
It's
never
like
had
every
that
pack of
branding.
sleeves had it. You're like,
Yes, literally every pack of sleeves. So we didn't have that branding, but the announcement of the 25th anniversary legendary collection has the 25th. It says Yu-Gi-Oh card game 25th quarter century is what the stamp says on the English edition. Like this is
yeah,
the TCG
it's
version
on.
of the product, and the mock-up has that little stamp.
So
So
that begs me to question, because do you remember what, like, when we went,
yeah.
the main sets, like the core sets had the 20th anniversary stamp as well, if I'm not mistaken. I remember, like, I
Yes.
think for us it was like Soul Fusion.
Literally
Was
everything.
used,
Like Cybernetic
yeah.
Horizon had the 20th anniversary stamp on the booster packs. Um and then I guess yeah, Soulfuge, Cybernetic Horizon, whatever the other one was
So like, does that,
prior.
like, are we gonna see that? So we also asked this, is like, when are we going to get more of that branding? And I'm expecting like post Worlds, I guess, right? Like, if you wanna explain to anyone
Yeah.
listening the dates for the set coming out, I
So
think would be a big one.
yeah. So the only things they've announced so far, and I would be shocked if there is not much, much, much more than this coming, because Japan did a ton of products
Yeah.
throughout the 20th anniversary, and I imagine they're going to do a ton of products for the 25th anniversary. And I imagine since we're getting the 25th anniversary stuff, it looks like there will be a ton more. But the announcements today were on April 4th, there will be a reprint of the Legendary Collection, which has already been printed in uh two separate like SKUs previously. There was the Legendary Collection a couple years ago, a Legendary Collection
There was like
1.
a
It was like 10 years ago.
2010.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like
I think it
2010.
was like 2010 was like the recent, like, sorry, not the recent one, like the original,
Yeah.
right?
Then they did the Game
Yeah.
Boards edition, and that was a little bit more recently. I want to say after Legendary Collection 5Ds, maybe they reprinted Legendary Collection 1
Yeah.
in like a new
Actually,
form
it
factor.
might have been a little bit after that as well, because I remember we were able to get it probably in the realm of like 2016, 2017,
Yeah.
unless it might have been recommissioned by like the European like
It
Konami.
also had reprints. So now we have
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
a third SKU, and it's called the 20, but this one is the 25th anniversary edition. So it has the same contents as the original two. The original one was like a big binder. The second one had like a game
Little
board.
box
This
set.
one has an extra promo. So you get
I like that's how they differentiated it real
yes.
quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Game Board edition.
Yeah, I know.
So
The Game Board
irrelevant.
edition. I know. It was very relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something that the product page says, so it'll have the 6 ultra rare promos from Legendary Collection Classic, which is the anime proxy versions of Ra, Slifer, and Obelisk. So these are the red, blue, and yellow cards, just like the show.
Very popular.
Yeah,
If
very
you
very
went
iconic.
to a locals, in 2050, like in like the last 10 years, I guarantee you would look at someone's like really shitty binder and those cards would be
And those cards would be in it for
that was like
sure.
the most common
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, like
Then you get
every time it's like
a
god cards and
yes. Then you get an ultra rare promo for Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes, the big three, as you know.
Mhm.
And then they say, in addition to the 6 ultra rares, there is the 25th anniversary edition includes a bonus 7th card. The 7th card will offer duelists a sneak peek at a brand new rarity created for the 25th anniversary, the Quarter Century Rare. And you will get 1 Quarter Century Secret Rare of one of the 6 promos. So you'll get a Quarter Century Secret Rare version of Ross, Lifer, Obelisk, Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, or Red Eyes. And I don't believe we've seen this yet. I don't think they even showed this off on stream at Jump Festa, but the Japan had a 20th anniversary secret rare for their products, which is very, very, it was kind of like a precursor to Starlights because they came out before Starlights. And
it was like
they look very similar.
It was more like the 10,000 Dragon.
Yes, it actually it looks almost exactly like the rarity of the 10,000 Dragon, except the stamp in the text box is not 10,000. Like a 10,000 Dragon, for those of you who have never seen one, which is not unreasonable, it looks like a Starlight, except the name is red, and then in the text box it has a stamp that says 10,000. And the 20th anniversary promos had the 20th anniversary stamp. So we can probably stand to reason the 25th or the Quarter Century Secret Rares will probably look kind of like a Starlight, will probably have a different colored name, and will probably have the 25th anniversary stamp over the text box. So
do you think this will be a trend that we will see? Obviously, maybe it won't just extend to like the 25th anniversary. Maybe there's like other product releases over the next couple of years that'll happen. Sort of like the rarity collection in Japan. Do you think there's a world where like if they're doing this as like a promo, then maybe they're willing to like integrate that rarity more into other products?
I would hope so. I would hope so. And I think also because they're not Starlights, like I don't think they will want to do promo Starlights. I feel like that would really devalue Starlights. If you remember, they tried doing promo Ultimate Rares one time, and it was okay.
Everyone had 40,000 Giga Brilliant.
Giga Brilliant, yeah, but it really wasn't great, and I think everybody was kind of like off put by them. So I feel like we're probably never going to get promo Starlights, which I'm okay with. I think that's reasonable. Well, but I feel like this is like
the problem has to just be the cards that they pick for these sort of like cool exclusive rarities, right? Because if you just gave one of like, because this is what's gonna happen with this set, because this happens every single time, right? We had the tins, like the original Starlight, right? Like the King Tiger, the Five Fist Tiger King,
the Prismatic Secret Rares.
You know what I mean? It's like Dark Rebellion and the Odd Eyes, right? I think
Platinum
those
Secret
rarities they should be reserved for like actual prizing. Like that's a rarity they use on like World Championship prize, like extra secret is what they call it, right? They do the World Championship stuff. Yeah, like why wouldn't you just have? Well, this is just not to say that they won't do it. Like, why wouldn't you just have the 25th anniversary rarity? Be the rarity for the next prize card. Like instead of an ultra rare, it's this. And I feel like that would be 1,000 times cooler, 1,000 times better if you're able to integrate like the stamping process. If that's something that they will end up doing, like I'm not saying that they are. Who knows? You assume that they would.
Yeah.
Then like
we do assume they would, but we don't know yet. Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're just gonna have the same thing. It's gonna be the same card printed in mass as a promo, 100, 1,000. A billion copies, after exaggerate it.
Yes, there will be 10,000 Quarter Century Dark Magicians.
Yes, and Game of Choice will have 38 million of them. You know what I mean? Like that's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yes.
So that's the thing, because like I think you need to make it more special when it's something like that. It's cool to make it a preview. I think it should like not be gate kept, but for something like that, I think it does have to have a bit more of like exclusivity behind it. It needs to be special. It needs to be something cool, because Japan had promo Ultimate Rares, right? We got promo Ultimate Rares, and they were just 3 shitty cards.
Giga Brilliant was beautiful. Don't
Yes.
talk badly about Giga
Oh
Brilliant.
my god. Yeah, but
Gongo
compared
Bolt
to
was
the
not.
other
Gongo
primers,
Bolt was pretty
they had
bad.
ultimate rares in their tin.
I know.
They had ultimate rare Chaos Emperor in their tin in like 2004.
I know.
Oh my god.
I know.
Something
I
I do
know.
want to touch on is, as I do think you talked about prize cards. I think prize cards should 100% be their own rarity. The fact that they're not, I
Yes.
think it's criminal.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't want like a metal card. I want something. I want like you saw the other thing, that punk playmat where it's just like way too much going on. I want a prize
Yeah.
card like that. I don't want to be able to look at it without getting sick. You know what I mean? I want too much going on with my prize cards, man. I want
Yeah.
something
So,
ridiculous.
but besides that, so we're talking about having the 25th rarity, 25th secret rarity reserved for certain things, and what Japan is doing is, um, they are getting rid of prismatic secret rares from their core sets, which is the equivalent of our Starlight rares, and replacing them with the 25th anniversary
Well,
rare.
that's what they did
So,
with
I'm okay with
20th
that.
anniversary
I'm
rares
okay with
too. And I feel
and
so yeah, that's reasonable,
and
I
so I'm saying
guess.
I think that that will eventually, because this little snippet says that they're getting a sneak peek of this new
that.
rarity, and I'm pretty sure that for at least a little while, that's what's going to happen for us. That we're going to get this instead of Starlights, we're going to get 25th anniversary rares in our core sets. And what I hope also on top of that is they increase that number to like 10 cards per set, so
Yes.
Yes.
all the good
Okay.
cards can meet
I
that quota
I
of
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And I think we went over this when Crystal Revenge came out, right?
Yes.
Crystal Revenge, if it wasn't the set that it was, which is like those sort of side sets that generally smaller, all foil packs, whatever. I think if you do what they did with the amount of Starlight res that they did, obviously let's assume it's the
Don't make 5
25th
of them Exodia,
anniversary. Yeah,
please. Don't.
like even Exodia is fine. They're in a core set. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
increasing the percentage chance that you can, like, obviously it's a lot harder if you want to pull a unique, Starlight rare or equivalent. It becomes a lot more of an issue. But if people are opening, pack after pack after pack, I think giving yourself a higher chance at pulling those cards is good. Not overly saturating it, but it sort of offsets the chance that you pull like the dud, right? Like as long as you don't increase the chance of pulling a dud, I think it can be okay. Like if you took all the Starlight rares from Crystal Revenge and barring Ryan's objection to the Exodia pieces, I think they're incredibly cool. And you put them into a core set, I think that would probably just be a really good core set solely because of those Starlight rares, right? Like assuming every other card is the same sort of like mid-level of power level that we've seen, maybe over like the last 2 or 3 years. Like let's say, like, would you buy a Blazing Vortex? Assuming the only good card is Pot of Prosperity, and I don't even know what else was in Blazing Vortex, to be honest.
Goddess,
And then it
Underworld
had
Goddess.
Starlight, right?
which probably could have been a Starlight.
Which should have been
rare.
a Starlight. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's okay. So I kind of want to touch on what both of you have just said, because I think I agree with both of you, and I'm going to combine both of the points you've made into a point that I think everyone can agree on. And I don't know, you have to be incredibly contrarian, I think, to disagree with what I'm about to say. But so my biggest issue with Starlights right now, that make them just feel terrible, which I understand that because of what we do, like we resell cards more or less for a living, like all of us, we open a lot of product, right? And we have a much better like gauge of like what like the ratios certain things are than I guess like the average person, because we open more product than we probably ever should in a lifetime in like one day. And Starlights are one every other case on average. Like roughly. It evens out to roughly one every other case.
Yeah,
And
obviously you could have like
that's
the rough end of a print run, and you could have the 10 cases with
yeah,
Starlight res
like
next to each other, and then the
yes.
10 that don't next to each other.
And like obviously, I'm not saying if you buy 2 cases you'll get one exactly. Like you could get 0, you could get 2. So you could get the crazy case with 100, yes. But like on average, it's one every other case. And I just have to say, opening the case that doesn't have a Starlight, which is half of them, feels awful. And it feels even worse when you're opening 10 cases and you get 5 Starlights, only 5, out of 10 that's
Or you
a
open
case is
10 and
crazy.
you get
Or
zero,
you
or
open
you get
10 and you get like
1.
3. Yeah, which is also like I've
Yeah,
had that
yeah,
happen
yeah.
before. Yeah. Where you open 10 cases and you get 3 starlights and you get like not even the good starlights because some of the starlights are really, really bad. And some of the
Yeah,
starlights,
yeah.
I think the one that I really ugh, I really don't want to harp
So
on it, but like
mm,
I really, really like when you look at how low some of the absolutely terrible starlights are, like there is a starlight from Darkwing Blast, the Mitsu the Insect Ninja,
yeah,
that
the
currently
ninja seems like
retails
40
Yes.
bucks,
for
right? The
less
set.
than a booster box. If you
Uh-huh.
pull this starlight, you still might lose money on your booster box.
That
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 is
card is worth less than
absurd. That is
3
absurd
copies
to
of
me.
Starlight. That card is worth less than 3 copies of Druid's one. No, that's stretching it, but
Yes,
close
that
enough.
is no 3 Magnamuts is more than Mitsu. I'm pretty sure. With 3 of a
That's very
super
funny.
rare is more than one of the Starlights.
How
So
how much
yes,
is how much is a Starlight rare right now in this current day and
of
age?
Mitsu of the insect,
Yeah.
it is
Mhm.
$59, $60. It is
Okay.
$60.
All right. Three Magnum are kind of close. Yeah. It's still more than Lubellion, but like that's to be expected,
I
right?
think if okay, how about this? If somebody had a Starlight Mitsu the Insect Ninja and said, "Do you want this for your 3 Magnamuts?" I'd probably say no.
Yeah, I
Be-
would I would say no.
I would say
I'm never
no.
selling. I would look at it and say I am never selling this card. I am getting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, okay, so I guess the first issue is that sometimes starlights are not great. You know, obviously there's some
Mhm.
good ones. Like I think Cartesia is a great starlight, Rukalos is a great starlight, Lydia Labyrinth is a great starlight, and I don't even have a problem with the Blackwing Dragon starlight. But it's like when you
Yeah, yeah.
only pick 5, when there are only 5 in a set, you cannot have a bad you cannot afford to have a bad one. It is
I agree. I think
that's
it should
the
be
issue.
playable cards only, and I think if you increase the count and you have more of those good reprints, similar to what Japan was doing, right? Or you just give like the low rarity stuff, like the commons, the supers, whatever, and you just give more of those slots to Starlight Rares to give them
Yes.
the rarity bump.
So
Whereas like Secret and Ultra is like whatever. Like obviously some cards will deserve it more than others, but I would prefer to see a common card be a Starlight Rare if it is extremely playable. Imagine Soul Fusion with
Pankratops,
only
yeah.
printing. Yeah, like yeah, Pancratop's
But
just infinite, right?
I have
So
another
so so
point.
I think
Please let me
the other
finish.
level as well. Sorry, the other level to that as well, though, just really quickly, is the set has to not suck as well, right? That is the other thing that makes it really, really awkward. If the set is bad, I don't know how many starlights it takes to carry it because you'll still have to open so many, you know?
So the to kind of get to what I was to circle back to what I was getting on with the it feels bad when starlights are one every other case because it means buying a case doesn't even get you anything cool. You know, like guaranteed. Like buying a case not getting a starlight feels so terrible. To
Mm.
somebody who's, you know, like who's going through a ton of cases, it's whatever. Like if I'm sitting in front of 20 cases of a set, one of the like a case not having a starlight is whatever because I know I'll average out, you know, some amount of them. But to somebody who, you know, most players don't buy a case of a set or at most buy one singular case of a set, right? Like I feel like that's generally the top end for most people is if they really buy product, the absolute top end would be one case, which is pretty natural. That's like how they're shipped and like how they're distributed. Like a case is like packaged off like to be, you know, what you would buy at the absolute top end. And from, you know, I didn't open as much of Crystal Revenge, so I don't personally speak to how the starlights are in that set, but from what I understand, the starlights in Crystal Revenge are closer to one per case, which is exactly what it should be. You shouldn't you shouldn't be spending $600-700, sometimes even $800 on a case
Now
for
it can
a
be more because
coin flip of a
prices are
starlight.
Yeah.
increasing.
Huh? Now what?
They increased the price of boxes. Now
Yeah.
you're paying more.
Yeah. So like if you're paying $800 for a coin flip of a starlight, that just feels so awful. And like it's just not like if you it just seems bad for like the consumer, not even like it just I feel like the mentality, like how you feel opening the product, I honestly think
Well,
matters
that's been like an
more.
ongoing thing as well as like I think a lot of people, especially the average Yu-Gi-Oh consumer, it feels bad opening a box lately. If you
Yeah,
open a box, you look at it, you're like, wow, I didn't even make half of
I
what
know.
this box cost me.
Yeah, it's
Well, the problem as well is you're just pulling a lot of filler cards, right? Like just stuff to pad out the set, and then obviously like the chase cards are chase cards. But take Crystal Revenge for example. If you open that box, your expected value, like your ROI on like the initial cost of a box, is just half price a very good percentage of the time. Even if you pull core set cards that aren't Starlight res, it just doesn't like add up. So like how do you fix that, or how do you entertain, the average player's thought process when they're opening a box, or they're opening, a couple of packs from Walmart or something? Like
so.
how do you think you're meant to fix
I
that
mean,
though?
yes. So the problem, I guess, like so. Um,
I think this is a multi-level problem,
I agree,
first
Yeah.
of all.
but
Yes.
but like the very I feel easy to address problems, and maybe it's too late to do it with Starlights, but because we're maybe cycling them out to quarter century rares, depending on if TCG decides to do what OCG is doing, maybe that gives them an opportunity to change the product structure, which I think would be welcome. Is they do what Japan. I think what would actually fix it, and a lot of people have been saying for a long time, is just do what Japan does for rarity distributions, which is every single super and ultra rare can be Starlight. And because
But also,
they
there's like
they don't
a
have secret
ghost
rares,
as well,
it's a little
right?
different. Yeah. But like
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is Japan, for all of their cards, have essentially a low end printing and a high end printing, more of almost all of their cards. And it
Yeah.
just means that the people complaining about, oh, the game is too expensive, like, well, now you just buy the low end versions of the cards. And the people that like high rarity versions of cards, they're available too. And the high rarity versions of cards will always be expensive. Like, we see time and time again when cards get reprinted, the crazy variant rarities of cards don't really go down. Like Droll getting a rare didn't make the ultimate worthless, like, obviously. And just like I just feel like if Fenrir was an ultra rare and a Starlight rare, and Lubellion was an ultra rare and a Starlight rare, and Magnet was a super and a Starlight rare, we would just see the top end still be worth something, and then the barrier to entry still being easy enough. I'm not saying this is a perfect solution, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't feel good opening these packs right now, as you mentioned. Like, I agree with you. It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I actually prefer, honestly, for myself, I prefer opening the deck building sets, because I think collector's rares being roughly 4, I know. I think collector's rares being roughly 4 per case is a much, like, it feels better to open. Like, it feels better to open when I'm opening this pack to get, like, the chase versions of cards. It just feels so much better, like, psychologically, to look at my 4 collector's rares that I got from a case instead of my 0 Starlight rares I got from a case. You know what I mean?
Okay, but also if you go look at how much those collectors rare, some of them are just like
I mean,
$20
yeah,
also.
some of them are, well, because also they don't pick good ones.
Yeah,
That's the other
the deck
issue.
building sets I think in
That's
general are
that's
just
the
bad.
other
I
that
think
that's the other issue, is like for these premium rarities, they can't be picking Mitsu the Insect Ninja. Like, they just can't do that. Like, that's just not okay. It just feels really, really bad. You know what I
Control
mean?
card.
Like, I'm just gonna keep talking about that one because it makes me so upset every time I look at it. But yes,
Has Booba
I
become
know.
Yeah.
Starlight?
So
Literally.
so to kind of circle back to what we were talking about with, like, quarter century rares. Okay, so I guess let me just what I was meant. So I kind of got really sidetracked and we talked about other stuff, but I just think there should be more than 5 Starlights per set. I'm not saying we have to do what Japan does and do, like, 20, like, every card's a Starlight. Like, who cares? But, like, do what Battle Legend did. Do 9 Starlights every core set and make them roughly 1 every case. And I think everybody will be a lot happier. That's what my solution would be, I think. Like, just, it's a band-aid, but I think it's something. And I think Battles of Legend, I agree, handled Starlights better. However, I still don't like the fact that you could pull the right leg of Exodia. Like, I just don't, that's just not fun to me. I don't know. But yes, all in all, I just wish the Starlight pool was slightly expanded per set, because they keep missing really, really, really good cards, and then it's just super awkward when like an archetype gets a good Starlight in one set and then doesn't get it in the next set, and now your deck just looks weird, or like I don't know. That's a whole thing. That's a me problem, not normal person problem, I guess. But and maybe if the Starlights get cycled out into quarter century rares, we'll see something change. But okay, the other product announced today for the anniversary is standalone printings of the 5 booster sets included in the Legendary Collection. And I think this will be the last thing we talk about today, because we're kind of going longer than, I mean, not as long as usual, but longer than we thought we would today. And those are Legend of Blue Eyes, Metal Raiders, Spell Ruler, Pharaoh Servant, and Invasion of Chaos. And I was thinking maybe these standalone boosters, because they are reprints, like, you know, they are like printing new packs of Legend of Blue Eyes and, you know, Metal Raiders and whatever. I was thinking maybe they would somehow fit Starlights into this, or I guess they would fit quarter century rares into this, but none of the product descriptions for these sets mention that. The only thing they do mention is they will feature both secret rares from the set. Which, Bohdan, can you explain like what that means? People who might not know, like why that would be something.
Before Bohdan
Okay.
explains that, I do
Yes.
want to mention that in previous products that we have gotten things in there that have not been on the product description, like Starlights and the imported Dark Magician that has the special thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, and also these don't come out till July, so it's very, very likely the product description will change by then with more details. But yeah, especially because all of them say, just in time to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the game, these sets are being made available as a standalone booster. So like,
right.
I feel like you might get a 25th quarter century Dark Magician of Chaos, maybe. I feel like that wouldn't be out of line, you know?
I just feel like there aren't enough people who would want to buy this product as is.
Oh, I certainly
like,
wouldn't.
No, I don't know anyone. It reminds me of almost like when they did like the Hidden Arsenal reprints. Like those things are so bad, right? And no one is really.
That's the other thing as well that we didn't really go over, but it's something I brought up, where they're probably gonna make Hidden Arsenal Collection 2 as well, and it's gonna line up quite well with the Satellanite support
and the Constellars.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting to see if they decide to do that. Maybe they don't.
With the reprints of these sets, I think in order to actually sell them at a good level, they have to be like 25th anniversary.
Okay, well, the other thing I'll say about that, if they do that and they have quarter century Exodia in the LOB reprint, why did they make it? Why would they make it Starlight? Like, why?
Right.
What's the just they hate everyone and everything. But yes, okay, Bohdan, please explain the significance of this printing will feature both secret rares from the set.
Yeah, so this is just coming in a booster box. Like this is going to be, you know, a pack that your locals will get boxes of, cases of, whatever.
Presumably, yeah.
And back in the day, when these sets originally came out, they had hobby boxes and retail boxes. You can probably find videos on it at length. But they used to be like, I think hobby boxes tend to have the more desirable, like, competitive secret rare, whereas like the retail boxes would have, you know, like the dud. So it would be the difference between like a Chaos Emperor Dragon or an Invader of Darkness. In the prior reprint, it wasn't released as a standalone box or like a set on its own. It was in the box set that they were also releasing, which is Legendary Collection, the Legendary Collection, whatever they like to call it, right? So you didn't have to differentiate, and I think you just got both secrets anyway. But for, you know, the avid collectors and everything else, like they'll see a box of IOC and they'll question, oh, is this a retail or a hobby box, which don't exist anymore. So yeah, it's not limited to like, oh, you're only going to get one secret rare from this box and it's going to be this one. It's like, no, you have the chance of getting every card in that set, whereas, you know, 10 20 years ago that wasn't an option. So I think that's really cool. It's really interesting. Something to note as well that I don't think was brought up, but I have seen posted before: Dark Crisis is being released in the box set that comes out in April, right? But it's not being released as a standalone booster box. In like
is
the
it?
reprint.
Wait, is Dark Crisis in here?
I
yes, Dark Crisis is. That's very bizarre. Yes, the Legendary Collection 25th anniversary includes LOB, Metal Raiders, Spell Ruler, Pharaoh Servant, Dark Crisis, Invasion of Chaos. Huh.
Dark Crisis has some weird things surrounding it because, like, I remember when I was younger, because I think that was like it might have been the first set that had the Shonen Jump branding on it. It was either that or it was either Magician's Force. But I remember Dark Crisis was really really awkward for a little while in terms of I think like the licensing for something. I don't know. It's some weird things at play. But there has to be a reason, or maybe like they were only able to put so many sets. Well, what is the set that's replacing it, or is it still just the same amount? Because it's
just
5 sets that's reprinting, right?
It's so the box set will have one pack of 6 different sets, and they're just reprinting 5 sets. I'm also kind of
it's 6 different packs in the thing.
There's 6 different packs in the thing. Yeah. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 6 different packs in the thing.
Okay, yeah.
Unrelated, I'm kind of shocked Magician's Force didn't make it into this because I feel like Dark Paladin and Dark Magician Girl
that has another can of worms behind it as well.
Sure.
I think sets like that become very because I know if you look at like Korean sets as well, the ones where they can basically just print them, at length.
Yeah.
I think Magician's Force is one of the ones that like wasn't allowed to be reprinted again, but I might be wrong on that. There's something weird about some of like the early Yu-Gi-Oh sets.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, like don't quote me, don't read too much into it, but I think there are some like licensing issues with certain sets where they can't recommission them again.
So,
unlimited doesn't mean unlimited all the time, but
yeah.
in this instance it is unlimited. Yes.
So something I'm kind of curious about is like in the past when we've seen reprints of sets significantly after the fact, when they've changed like printing, when they've changed like card box layouts. So the one I'm thinking of specifically is Duelist Pack Kaiba. Duelist Pack Kaiba first edition has the classic like GX 5Ds era, like smaller picture.
I got you.
And then
text box, and then the ultimate rare foiling is different, right? From first edition Unlim.
And then the Unlim has the bigger text box. So my question is, when you open one of these packs, are they going to look? Are they going to look like old cards? Are they look like new cards? Is DMOC and Chaos Emperor Dragon and Imperial Order going to be errata?
I have to tell you, they will probably like almost 100% be the same card stock we have now, which means potential for the same average quality control.
Yeah.
Which that you'll also have like a weird or more washed out look. These won't be the classic cards by any means, right?
I feel like they can't be, right? I feel like there's no way they could be.
Like that just doesn't
so
exist
right. So because I was able to work on my own card game and I was able to see how printing companies work like behind the scenes and what you have to do to get your stuff printed, and you have to send them files. And so in order to do that, you have to send them the card files with a print layout, lots of different numbers that go into how the cards are supposed to be printed. And so they 100% are going to have to send them the new updated cards files for them to like download into the printing machines and print out. They won't have the old ones anymore.
So something to note as well, though, that might be interesting. I want to see how they look at stuff like problem-solving card text, because obviously we know, like, I think the first the reprint, right, the quote-unquote reprint, of the first legendary collection thing, with the original 5 booster packs, not the original, but you know what I mean. Like that didn't have problem-solving card text. I think that came out like
would love if these have problem-solving card text.
Okay, so how do you tackle cards like what is it? It's like Tailor of the Fickle or something. Like the really ignorant card that's like activate this during your standby phase. It's just a normal spell.
I mean,
like all the really arcane cards. Like, how do we fix these?
Well, they're in
dueling.
They're gonna figure it out, right? Like So like the reason I want these to have problem-solving card text is because a lot of these cards have not been reprinted in the last 12 years and don't have problem-solving card text.
Yeah.
So I would love if
this is where like speed duel comes into play as well.
Yes.
Like that too.
Yeah, I would love if they took the time for this one to like, if these packs have quarter century secret rares and they're not as scarce as Starlights, and each pack just has like literally the good cards, like 10 of each pack, quarter century, and the quarter century rares aren't 1 per 2 cases or 1 per case. If they're like a little bit more common than that, maybe they're even like 1 per box. Because to be honest, if you buy a box of this set,
Are you talking about the reprint sets or
The
sets in
reprint, the
general?
reprint booster sets.
Because I
These
think the reprint
specifically.
booster sets will only have a couple of them. I don't think they'll have a whole
Sure,
bunch.
sure.
No.
Specifically because Legend of Blue Eyes, the ones that you can put as the new rarity are already going to be the new rarity in the
Yeah.
Master Collection. The Blue Eyes Dark
Well,
Magician.
I'm saying you do
So it would end up
Pot
being
of
like
Greed, Regeki, Dark
Monster
Hole,
Reborn.
Monster Reborn. Yeah. I'm
Mm.
saying that they
I
have a
think there might
more
be a couple.
curated list, and maybe they skew towards cards that are played in popular old formats. Like you
Yeah.
look at Metal Raiders and you go, okay, we're not going to do Horn of Heaven or Magic Jammer, but we'll do Mirror Force, Solemn Judgment,
Polymerization.
Heavy Storm. You
I think
know,
Polymerization would be a good one.
yeah, and you look at Spell Ruler and you go, okay, well, we'll do Delinquent Duo, Snatch Steal, MST, because and not Painful Choice, because Painful Choice is banned in every format of all time.
Right.
Like I don't think, you know. So I feel like that is how I think I would be excited for this product if the cards have problem solving card text. They're the updated cards, and they have quarter century rares, quarter century secret rares. I think that is what would get me personally interested in this set, because I don't think, like, otherwise surely these will be completely worthless, right?
I think so.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you?
I think-
like there's no reason for you to have it from a collector's
Yeah.
standpoint unless there are hidden gems inside of the set. Like these are all
Yeah.
cards that have been printed a lot. They won't have anything.
They're
You know
they'll
what I
be
mean?
just
Like,
worth nothing.
The only thing I could see is like maybe 10 years from now when people are like, yeah, like this set was really like poorly received and now these are just worth a lot, and whoever just like decided to hold the product is now rich, right? But that will take time. I want something now that makes people want to buy it when it comes out. Give something, you know what I mean? Whether it be a chase card, special card, anything. Like your idea is perfect, but like I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
You
I
know
mean,
what
I
Like,
said it,
I'm
nothing.
hopeful.
What I'm saying is just like all of these classic cards, I guess, like, so everyone I think has some idea in their head that these old cards are worth a lot of money, or whatever. And that's
Yeah.
only true for the first editions. And like
Yes.
unlimited,
And they have to be in good condition, like, and even then the market is just
Yeah.
like saturated with people trying
Yeah.
to do the same thing.
What
you're
I mean
doing.
is like unlimited prints of all of these cards, like all of these chase cards, as I'll call
Yeah.
them, in their unlimited edition, because they've just been reprinted to the ground over the years, are already not worth anything.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
some of the most expensive cards are like unlimited and near mint DMOC is like $17 right now. And I
Mhm.
can't even imagine how much lower it'll go when they reprint Invasion of Chaos.
Right.
You
So
know,
that's
like,
something else as well that like I also am worried about, because this is something you have to balance as well, right? If this is a set that you're not including cool stuff in, but you're reprinting these cards and like the copyright will say 2020 Shueisha TB Tokyo whatever, right?
yeah,
No 1996 Kazuki Takahashi, and
Studio
let's say
Dice.
the cards have problem solving card text, right? And then let's say the red, like they just look off, you know what I mean? Like they're like current printing whatever. These won't have like anything iconic about them. They're not like throwbacks to what you had prior. And that'll be like a point of issue, right? Because like if you just try and keep everything as close to the original version of the set as possible, then I think it's a lot more beneficial to you. You have the old card text for cards that have been errated, like Dark Magician of Chaos or something. And then that's better because it plays into older formats a little bit nicer, right? And it sort of has that sort of flair of like, oh, this is what it was back then, right? And you just like, obviously people have access to the database on their phone now, so like there's no issue in reprinting a card with its old text pre-errata, but I can see it like a can of worms there. But yeah, like if they just do it and this is like new version of IOC, problem solving card text plus erratas plus ratio, like all the ignorant stuff.
Yeah.
Then it's like what is this then?
then
Like,
you
this could
have
just
to
be a
have the
reprint
quarter
set on its
century
own.
rares, right? I think if they do quarter
Exactly. Like,
century
I think
rares,
it has
one
to
per
have something
box.
special. It has
One
to
per
have something
box.
special, or it has to be the exact set that came out in 2004,
Yeah.
like 2002. You know what I mean? Like it just has to be those one for one. Because I think they did miss the mark with the prior version of this. Like, it might have been a good seller. Like, I think it aged quite well, but now you have this again, and it's like, well, can you, you know, can you hit gold once again? Probably, maybe
Yeah.
not. I don't know. People are more jaded now. Like, they respect the the vintage card market
I
now.
just feel like if these don't have any quarter century secret rares in them, I don't see the point. I'll be
Exactly. No,
honest. I just don't
No,
see how these will be worth
100%.
anything. I don't get it.
Mm. So
However,
that'll be interesting to see. I am excited for 2023 solely because if like these have the 25th anniversary rares, like if they have the quarter century, everything, like all products have, new rarity, higher chance of pulling, like cards that aren't garbage, I'll be more than okay with that.
yeah.
And that mitigates like set quality and everything else. Konami will have redeemed themselves if they just like give you more chances to get nicer cards.
Oh, by all
I'm more
means,
than okay
these
with
have a lot of potential to be really good. I just, as they're
that.
presented in the product page, I'm not seeing it. But as Jeff also said, there's definitely possibilities there can be things not in the product page. That's happened a lot.
Yeah.
And
I
also,
think
Okay.
in this case, by doing that, it's also to their detriment because the
You have to
people who
put your
have to buy
projections
these,
in,
yeah, you
right?
have
yeah,
to
you have to,
order them so far in advance, and
yeah.
then no one
So
will order
So
them.
that's
if the
on that note as
distributor,
well.
if they give this to the distributor and they're like, "What the fuck? Why would anyone buy this?" and they're like, "Well, there could be something in it." Wink, wink.
It's like that doesn't help. Yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
King's Court. They did that with King's Court, and I'm still
Well,
in
they
the
mad
God
also
about it.
did it with
I'm
Mama, right? That was the other issue.
No, they said there would be the Pharaoh's rares. They didn't
Oh,
explain
they did.
what they
just
would
didn't
be.
mention the
They just
exclusive
didn't
stuff or
mention
whatever.
anything about them. Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
King's Court.
We just thought it was the secret shiny box or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like just one for one.
King's
Yeah.
Court.
So on the note of like the distribution thing, though, real quick,
Mhm.
do you think that there will be stores opening this up in quantity? Do you think there is enough demand
I
for
hope
like
not.
singles from these sets?
No,
I don't know how
I
there
don't
would
think
be.
so, right? No, but that's what I mean. So like, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck these cards get circulated, even if there are crazy rarities in there. That's the problem. When a set is shit, like,
oh, I
do you
think if
think?
there's crazy rarities in there, I think people will open
Yeah,
them
people
up.
No,
open them. Yeah.
of course, because like there'll be a point where like that card market price will just like set itself so high that it's like good value to actually just open up your set, right? Like it makes no sense not to. But I'm trying to gauge like what do you think has to be the quarter century rare in sets like this to make it worth opening up and to dictate a higher price point
Well-
when the set itself has just existed for the last 30 years. Like, who's to say most of these will not just be sealed? Like, who's like, this is people saying, oh, I can start my sealed collection of vintage Yu-Gi-Oh, these are 25th anniversary stuff, right? Like, this is
Yeah.
what will happen, I think, more than anything than this set actually being opened. These are just going to be more like centerpieces for collections over the coming years. People that didn't get a chance to get IOC because it's infinite now, even on limbs. Like, you have a 25th anniversary box. Like, cool. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do you do it to older cards that are already in the set, or do you do it to newer cards, or do you add an entirely different chase card? Does that devalue the set's like legacy? Or what? Like, where do you think they might go with something like this? I feel like we sort of touched on it. You're talking about like Pot of Greed and stuff like that, but do you think that's enough to sort of drive it if those do exist in those sets?
So what I personally think, if they don't play their cards right, I think it's very possible, and I'm sure. Okay, so I guess I think this is a cool idea. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I love the history of the game. I didn't play the game when some of these sets. I've actually opened most of these sets, honestly. Like I've opened IOC when it was like new. I've opened Pharaoh's Servant. I don't think I've ever opened a pack of LOB like when it was new, but I think I have actually opened all the rest of these packs. And that is something, and a lot of people have not opened any of these packs, right? And that is something, and all of this reminds me. I don't want to dig too much into this, but the recent Magic 30th anniversary thing where they made the $1,000 set,
Yes.
and they like
this was
recently, yeah.
Huge, like it's so bad for them.
And they had a huge PR thing where it was a $1,000 promo set of proxies that aren't tournament legal, and it was like an amalgamation of like a bunch of the early sets, and everyone hated it.
I need to yell about this.
Sure.
Because I think products like that are good. Do you know why? Because it's not for the average consumer. It is $1,000. Nothing matters. right? If Yu-Gi-Oh did that, that's the equivalent of like the Platinum Blue is. It's not gatekeeping anyone. These cards are just, again, they're just there.
Well, it's a
as
whole thing because of the
for a
reserve
collect-
list for them, and like they are technically reprints, but like not really because they're not legal. Like it was, there's
No,
a lot more to
exactly,
it for them, I
exactly,
think,
right?
where it's like just
But like
bad.
on the same level though, there are enough people making counterfeit Magic cards that are almost one for one actual Magic cards that it doesn't make sense to not have a product like this. And people are willing to buy proxies. Like if you look at the sales rate for proxies for like reserved list Magic the Gathering cards on eBay, it is alarming.
Oh
Like
no,
it
I'm
is
sure.
insane. People who have like really expensive cards in like their commander decks, right? They love sets like this. If they're willing to put the cash down already, doesn't make a difference, right? I think that is perfectly fine. My issue is like if Magic did that and it's like we're gonna reprint like the first like 5 Magic sets, and they're not gonna be tournament legal, but it's just gonna be the same, same breakdown of like if you open a pack that you would, 30 years ago or something. Like then everyone would be like in uproar. That's like it just baffles me
Right.
because you're not going
So
to please anyone. Just don't make it in general. That's the issue.
yes. So you've derailed me a lot, but I'm just gonna say what I was gonna
Sorry.
say about that.
I hate
The
it so much.
reason
See,
the
that was
reason
so-
everyone hates that set, the reason
Mm.
is because if you've ever done it, you can go online and you can do like a simulated booster pack opening of that set, and the cards are just garbage.
Yes.
Like you are paying $1,000 to open proxies of cards that even if they're real are worth like $3 a lot of the time. That's what's crazy. It's not like you're paying $1,000 for an official proxy of a Black Lotus. You're paying $1,000 for like a 2% chance of an official proxy of a Black Lotus. So
Right.
what I'm saying is people are going to look at these and they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And they're going to open their pack of Legend of Blue Eyes. I literally just now, while you were talking, did a simulated Legend of Blue Eyes pack opening.
Oh my god.
And my pack is 8 vanillas and an equip spell. And people are going to spend $5 and they're going to open Aquamador, Terra the Terrible, Frenzied Panda, Basic Insect, and Mystic Moon and go, what just happened?
Yeah, and half the cards in your pack will be damaged.
Yes.
That's the thing.
And that's the issue.
But like that's the thing. Like people will complain if they print it, and they'll complain if they don't print. Like if it doesn't, like, I think it's better if you don't print it because people will just forget it's even a possibility. The fact that you print it, people will complain in general. It doesn't make a difference.
Oh, I'm saying like opening LOB is not fun. Opening Vision of Chaos is kind of fun. Opening LOB is not fun. LOB. Okay, my next pack of LOB is 7 equip spells and 2 vanillas.
Before we just like go off into the abyss.
Yeah.
Like this isn't designed for your average player. This is designed for the people that didn't get to experience those sets, whether it be 20 years ago. Sorry, well, it says 25 years, but obviously in TCG it came out in 2002.
Yeah.
Let's say 20
Well, I
years
think
ago,
there
right?
are 2 groups of people this is for. That,
Yes.
and I think also the people who only experienced back then and live in those days and want to re-experience it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone who is a modern day
will
duelist.
be jaded. I think those people will be incredibly jaded, but that doesn't matter because the key selling point will be, oh, I've watched a pack opening of LOB First Edition on YouTube from my favorite YouTuber, and that looked cool. I'm going to get a box of LOB, and I'm going to try and relive that glory. And, maybe you missed out and you didn't want to buy 24 individual legendary collections in 2010 to get 24 packs, right? Now you have the option to get a booster box. And I tell you what, there is a very big chance that a lot of those will end up bargain bin because I know a lot of stores will probably order it thinking this has to be good.
Oh, no.
25th anniversary.
No.
For every other game, when something says anniversary, it sells for $1 billion. And I could just be wrong.
I honestly think this will be a trap for stores who don't know a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! I think stores that don't know a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! This will be a huge trap, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. The Legendary Collection, I think will do fine. I think that will do fine. But as I said, unless there's more to these products, I just think it'll be a trap.
So I think what the right call should have been, instead of doing all of these individually, was do what they did. No. Do what they did with Dark Beginnings and Dark Revelations and create a massive set with all of them.
The 25th anniversary set. Oh, that's way better.
And then
Also,
and you could also
then you add
integrate
and
like
then
the
you
cool
add all
rarities and
yes,
rarity
and then you
bumps
add
and stuff
all
like
of the
that.
rarity
Yeah, yeah.
and then you add all the rarity
Mm.
bombs, and that is how you sell it. And then you're not worrying about getting 7 normal monsters and equip skills.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
get 1 or whatever like that.
I got you. I
That
got
is
you.
how you should have done it. And Konami, you should have hired me. I would have made you.
Someone asked me. They
Oh,
said,
man.
will this legendary collection replace Ghosts from the Past 3? And that's leading me to believe potentially, like, do you think these being in the product schedule will remove something that we've already had
So
in
something
prior years for the product schedule?
also upsetting and shocking. 5 booster boxes releasing on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, which makes
Yeah,
me
that's
think,
terrible for stores, right?
are the cases of these, is a case gonna have like 3 LOB, 3 IOC, 2 of each of the rest of them?
Oh, that's a good
No,
point.
I feel like that would make a
posted
lot more sense.
Screenshot.
What?
Max posted a screenshot from one. I don't know if distributors have this out yet, but it's a screenshot from one of the stores. And they posted pre-orders already, and it is LOB booster box and LOB case pre-order.
Oh,
And I think
whoops.
it has their distro copy paste.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm
like,
sure that was a distro copy paste. Yeah. So okay,
Yeah.
well, there goes my idea of how this would work. Okay, I don't understand that.
Well,
I don't know how they're
that
gonna
could
balance
still-
5
that could still be, like
cases.
misinformation. Who knows? But
Yeah.
like it looks like they'll just be their own
Because
individual case.
because what I also when I look at this, I think to myself, okay, so if I'm a store and I'm seeing like, okay, so this is a product, as we've mentioned, this is not targeted towards the modern competitive player, which is fine. Not everything has to be. In fact, most things shouldn't be. I acknowledge that. But then even then I'm looking at it, okay, so I'll get LOB and I'll get Meta Raiders because LOB is the very first set. Meta Raiders is the second set and broken and has a ton of iconic cards. Mirror Force, Solemn Judgment, Heavy Storm. I think Meta Raiders is probably like the most fun to open for me of these. So like I would look at LOB and Meta Raiders and I'd say these are definitively better buys than Spell Ruler and Pharaoh Servant. Like I think Spell Ruler and Pharaoh Servant are definitively weaker buys than LOB and Meta Raiders. LOB, even though it's a terrible set, is the first set of Yu-Gi-Oh! It'll be the most popular one by far. Then I think IOC is kind of the outlier, but I think IOC is like the best set card quality wise. Yes. That I think IOC is the one as a competitive player. When I look at this, I don't think me personally, I'll really like I'm not gonna go to my locals and buy a box of LOB and open it. I'm not gonna buy Meta Raiders. I might, when this comes out, I might buy a box of IOC and open it. Just because that's the cards that I like.
Changed the game.
Of course,
also.
Yeah. So when I look at this from like a store's perspective, I'm stocking up on LOB, I'm stocking up on IOC, and I'm stocking up and I'm maybe hedging Metal Raiders. But I just don't know why they'd release all 5 in the same day.
So
it's like
another thing that's really interesting to note that I think a lot of people have sort of neglected, but I think we've been sort of like we've been not victim, like subject to it from our friends in the community. Yeah, the Korean cards, right? You'll see people buy Korean boxes. I see this happen because the price point is so low, right? They're able to buy Korean LOB, crack it. The cards are worth nothing, but they're just happy to open the LOB set. And maybe, do you think that's sort of like played into it? Like, I feel like more Korean vintage product is opened by Westerners than actual people in Korea. Because why the fuck would you open it in Korea, right? Yes. And like, I know Max and Furman love listing their shitty Korean cards.
Yo, they sell. We ship so many Korean cards. We make so much money on them too.
No, exactly. So like, I guess that maybe, just maybe, there are enough people. They have done their product research. That's something I really didn't factor in.
They're not paying $100 a box, though, is the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're not paying $100 a box of Korean stuff. So these will be
it's like what, 30 or 20 for an LOB box,
I don't know. It depends. I'm not sure. 70? It's just like these are probably going to be regular packs, right? Like surely this is just going to be maybe at best, they're not $4.50 a pack. Maybe at best are $4 a pack. But even
I think they're gonna keep the same MSRP.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
But even then, right? Like these are just gonna be regular packs, and it's just like I don't know, man. I'm just not. I feel like we're getting just oversaturated with stuff like this, and I don't know who's left to buy them. If that makes
I'm more
any
concerned for the
sense.
local stores. However, when stuff like this happens and you do have 5 sets come out the same day, and stores might get overwhelmed. Here's what does tend to happen.
Okay, wait,
right?
sorry. I need to say something real quick before, because
Okay.
I'm just gonna be laughing. Okay, so I just clicked the actual product page, and the mock-up of the image, it is the pack with a 25th anniversary stamp on it, and then it says official tournament star launch date, July 12th, 2023. Launch date, July 14th, 2023. Konami tournament legal date, already legal. Perfect.
I love those.
Okay, sorry, continue.
But yeah, so like what'll happen is I think this product itself, because of like how it is being released and how everything is sort of like surrounding it, right? Like this is might be viewed as an undesirable product unless pre-sales go quite well for the stores that have put pre-sales up already. You'll have either low projection numbers from distributors, so a low amount will be ordered, a low amount will be produced, I guess, like with that far out should be okay. And then you'll have like stores not ordering a lot because there's going to be 5 sets coming out on a respective day, right? You might see some really good value retention if you do get a case of this and you keep it, because I feel like this might just be poorly received and you print money later because not that much of it exists, or it's well received and there's high enough demand for it where you, like I think it might just be a no-brainer. If you're just getting it to like sit on, it should be okay, right? Like that just seems like a really good thing regardless. There's no mid-ground where I think I'm losing money on a set like this if I'm buying a case from that market watch perspective. But
I just think, okay, you know what, to be honest with you, now that I'm looking at it more and we've talked about it more, I feel a lot less bad about these products as a whole than I did when we started. I actually feel like these are probably fine. However, 5 on the same day is too many.
Yeah.
That is all I'll say. They cut Dark Crisis from the lineup. I think they should have also axed. I think they should have also axed Pharaoh Servant and Spell Ruler, and they should have just gone with LOB Metal Raiders Invasion of Chaos. That's just how I feel about it.
I agree.
Even then, 3 is a lot too. 3 is a lot.
No, surely they can just like stagger the release over the span
that's
of
the other
year
one.
and make it more special, right?
So something Pokemon did for their anniversary recently that I thought was really cool is they had a release called the First Partner Pack, and it was oversized promos of the starter Pokemon. And they didn't release all 8 generations in the same day. They released them every month and a half throughout the year.
Yeah.
So the whole year, you had, even if you weren't buying, like celebrations or like the super expensive products, throughout the whole year, if you wanted the whole collection, you would have to go out to your game store and buy one of the promo packs every month and a half. And it was just something to, keep you coming back. And it's like, I feel like if they spaced these out over the course of, maybe 2 months each, it would be a lot more palatable. Like you start with LOB and then you go to Metal Raiders and then, like a couple of months later, Spell Ruler or Pharaoh Servant, and then you crescendo with Invasion of Chaos to really, like round out like the history of early Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just got 5 in one day is so crazy. I'm really fascinated. And there's probably going to be there's definitely going to be other products coming out for the 25th anniversary, hopefully, right? Like that would be crazy if there were no more. So also notably, these products all have the stamp on them. Maze of Memories does not, and Photon Hypernova also does not, despite releasing in 2023. So
does not what?
Do not have the stamp. They do not have the 25th. They do not have the quarter century stamp.
I think it's only after a certain date. So I think it's March.
It's likely this is the post world set where we will see the 25th anniversary.
No, because the 25th anniversary Legendary Collection comes out in April. So maybe
April.
anything after April will have the stamp.
I feel like it's very likely that the first core set for the new calendar year will end up being, well, not the new calendar year, but sorry, like the post worlds like calendar year.
So that makes sense also. Because that would be
new rarity, right? Because like Photon Hypernova is already it already exists, and it's very likely that the other set has already been printed.
So Cyberstorm Access probably won't have quarter century rares, right? Yeah, Cyberstorm Access probably won't be. However, one thing is, I'm not going to go into super great detail about this, and if you don't know what this is, I guess just look it up. I don't know how to explain it like succinctly. The set after Cyberstorm Access is called Duelist Nexus, and as we all know, packs that have Duelist in the name are the start of the new series, right? So this is a green pack. Again, a lot of words. If you have no idea what I'm saying, Google booster pack rainbow and your mind will be blown. So
It is
Duelist
very fun.
Nexus is a green pack again. And this is the one that it sounds like will be having. Yeah, so it says quarter century secret rares will replace the usual prismatic secret rares to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Official card game. So it looks like Duelist Nexus will be the first set for the OCG that will be getting quarter century rares. So
Yes.
yeah, maybe Cyberstorm Access will come out for us in May, and despite coming out after the 25th anniversary Legendary Collection, will not be 25th anniversary branded. Then we'll have our first pack after Worlds, or after the WCQ and Worlds, presumably, will be Duelist Nexus, and that will be a green pack that will have the 25th anniversary branding, and then it'll be the best set ever with quarter century rares, and we will all frolic into the sunset, ready for our reprints of Legend of Blue Eyes through Invasion of Chaos, and it will all make sense. Maybe it will all make sense then, and we just don't see the vision yet. All right.
And that's that.
And that's that. Yes. All right. So, any like closing thoughts? This went way longer than we thought, but I actually enjoyed this conversation a lot. I think we touched on a lot of really cool things. But so I guess like it seemed like I'm definitely probably being overly critical on these products. I think
No, I don't
at
think
this
you
point,
are at all. I think we're being appropriately critical because with the information given, there's
yes,
no way that these are like worth it to the majority of people.
yeah,
And it's if stores buy this, I think they're going to be sitting on a lot of it. So
unless the product is different than the product description says.
right,
For the
absolutely.
sake of surprises, and then everyone's upset because they didn't buy any of it, and then it's $1 million on the secondary market because nobody ordered it because it wasn't going to be good, and then it's
Yeah,
actually good, and
far
then
too
everyone's
often
upset.
can you go on TCG Player and see that all the boxes that are selling less than what you bought them
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
And I feel like this will be another one of those things,
potentially.
unless
Yeah,
the set is better than what is
yeah.
written.
unless LOB got better in the
Yes.
last 20 years. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to say. I am interested to see. I'm very happy they're doing a quarter century and 25th anniversary run for the TCG. If this is all we get, I'll be a little disappointed, but I feel like there's no way this is all we get. But I am
No,
cautiously
I'm sure
optimistic.
we'll get some crazy thing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. But I'm cautiously optimistic. Um Bohdan, how do you feel about it?
I'm just gonna wait and see. I feel like we've gone through every potential prediction, and we really can't tell until the product is in people's hands, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
Thank
see
you all.
we'll see the leaks in a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us.
I'm pretty sure because again, it's just like an old core set. I think you might see content creators getting this significantly earlier. You might have a Jerome video leading up to something like this, which will be really interesting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait to see what that
I
has.
can't
and
wait.
That might
That'll be
influence
so
the
fun.
25th. Yeah.
Watching
So,
Jerome open a legendary
once we get
collection
there-
will be so fun. Oh my god. I can't wait. I love the Jerome videos. I love them. I think they're so great. Just all the decks around him as he like explains a deck or like opens packs. I actually love it. It's so cool. I would love him to open a legendary collection. Please, Jerome, do it. Please.
Hopefully he's listening to the podcast.
He is the best pack opening channel on YouTube.
Yes.
But yes, yeah. Once we have more information, I'm sure we can more adequately assess these. But as of right now, we're just speculating, and I hope it works out. I truly do. I'm not hoping these don't do well. The one thing I'm going to keep harping on now is, God, 5 sets in one day is crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know.
And what that will mean is
the cows come home, Ryan. You're gonna
I know. I know.
Burst
Okay.
blood vessel or something.
I know. I will. Okay. So, this was, I guess, our quarter century, episode. I guess we spent an hour on that. That was crazy. But yeah. So
next week, I think we'll try and do like a 2022 roundup. We might try and get a special guest or something. We can talk about the events that have transpired and the sets that have come out, and sort of get that out before the New Year's. Give you something to listen to if you're doing something for New Year's, or maybe you're working New Year's and you want to have something to listen to while you work. So
For sure. Yeah. So thank you all for listening. And yeah, we'll be here with the 2022 roundup next week. So stay tuned for that.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
yeah, Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, etc.
Yeah.
Yes, happy non-denominational season, something. Yeah.